knew it was gonna. I feel like I knew that it was gonna happen because like there was like a lot of hush hush, like oh my gosh, you know, like people talking about you with you being there without you like with them trying to act like you don't know that they're talking about you. And I'm like, what is wrong with everybody? And then like obviously Leo at the time being there, I was like, okay, so like I peep game. I'm like, some gotta be down. So I don't know if I remember everything, but like he called, like all of my family is in the kitchen / living room area, and they like all huddle around, and then he goes in the center of my family. Like Leo is probably I don't know if I want to call you shy, because he's not shy, but he's definitely not an extroverted personality. Like he's definitely behind, like he said, behind the scenes, definitely doesn't like stand out to speak voluntarily. You have to call him out. So the fact that he was standing out there, I was like, bruh, like what is about to happen? And he got down on one knee, and I was like, oh my god, like kind of pretending like I didn't know, even though I did.
Yeah, see that?
I don't remember anything. I don't even think I heard what he said, to be honest, because all of my family was like screaming and like and like I couldn't hear a single word that he said, but I said yes, and I was like so flippin' happy. Even now looking back, I don't think I was even happy for the fact that I knew that I was walking into a marriage. I was happy that I was going to be able to go through the process of getting a wedding for me at that time.
So let me give you what really happened.
Okay.
And you know, I think what happened is that I was the one who didn't know what was going on. Because
they planned this around you.
Around me. So I got there, and you know, I meet the family, you know, whatnot. My first time meeting any of these people, and next thing you know, your mom pulls me aside and she sticks the ring in my pocket, like she puts the whole box in my pocket. I'm just like, what's going on? And she's like,
today's the day.
It's about to go down. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So then she's like, yeah. So then your mom calls everybody in, and your mom starts talking, and then out of nowhere she goes, well, yeah, he has something he wants to say. And I'm like, huh? Oh, okay. Now I don't even remember what I said because I had nothing prepared. Like I think she knew more what was going on than I did. So,
and I didn't know very much at all.
Correct. So I was in the dark. I was just like a cow being led to slaughter. So,
and bless our parents' hearts. Like my mom, I will speak on just. My mom was very obviously, you know, he had said yes that he wanted to do this, and she was just like, all right, like you ain't gonna waste no time, so let me help you.
Right.
So she pushed you into.
I have some feedback for that. Like for my people watching.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So she pulls me up, you know. So you know, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to embarrass her in front of the family because I don't know what's going on? No, because obviously this is something that I said that I wanted. So I went through with it, and I said. You know, I don't remember what I said.
I don't either.
It was 12 years ago. But I do remember I never asked the question, right?
Really?
No, because there was a lot of picture snapping.
Yes, I remember that.
And then on the drive back after, you said, hey, you know you never asked me. And I was like, what?
That's so mean.
So I asked in the car, and then you said yes again. But I never asked you the first time. You were just saying yes to ask.
I was just saying... And hence the idea of me being so ready for a wedding versus actually being ready for a marriage. Because had I heard him, like had I even waited for him to ask me that question, that would be completely different than me just voluntarily, like without him even asking the question, just say yes to me like getting married or having a wedding. So that's really crazy hearing this. Like a lot of this, I've never heard it. We've never talked about this. We've talked, but we've never talked this through the way that we're doing right now. Right. So a lot of this stuff is new to me, just as much as it is to y'all. And hearing a different perspective of hearing how it went down versus like their point of view of how it went down versus mine is really interesting. We were engaged.
Correct.
I don't remember anything after that, but I do remember specifically one moment we went to a place in Miami, like super far in Miami, and we go to this place like, do you know anything that happened before the actual and like breakup, like in that space of being engaged versus the breakup?
Just a lot of negative feedback.
Yeah. So did you tell your parents or like your family?
No, I didn't get the chance to tell them. Actually, they found out via MySpace, which was the Facebook back in the days for my dinosaurs. Y'all know what MySpace is.
Damn, we gotta be dinosaurs.
We dinosaurs. Don't you want to be dinosaurs?
Okay, dinosaurs.
You ask right now, what's MySpace? Are you gonna say?
They have no idea. You're right. MySpace.
This is MySpace backup.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
But yeah, no, it was just a lot of disapproval of the time frame.
Right.
It wasn't really disapproval of us being together. It was just more so a lot of disapprovals of everything happening, the time frame, and I guess because it somewhat was unexpected and hidden.
Right.
I guess. And it just came out on MySpace. So that's how my family found out. Which they didn't really give a lot of feedback, but you could tell. You could tell. A lot from my understanding, a lot of how some Haitian parents are, if they don't like something, they're gonna be really quiet.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, okay.
A lot of
and then they start
parents.
singing their Haitian church songs. So that's what I received on mine. What did you receive on your end?
So I mean, for me, obviously, like my family was very involved in this. Like being the girl on the opposite side, my family was very, very involved. So everybody pretty much was happy. Everybody was very, like I don't think I got any negative feedback from my mom's side of the family at all. My like aunts and uncles, everybody was just like, I honestly don't think that it was. I don't know. I don't think I got anything at all negative.
Makes sense.
At all.
Yeah.
Even if people thought it was too, I don't, like, the people that would have thought it was too soon was like my mom and my sister. And my mom and my sister were very involved with knowing how much we actually did love each other and how much we wanted to be with each other. So there wasn't very much negative coming from them because they were with us all the time. And then the other people that were like my aunts and uncles, they didn't really have anything to say because they honestly didn't. This was his first time meeting them, so a lot of them didn't even know him to be able to say like yes, no, too fast, too soon, all of the above, because they didn't know. They didn't know anything about our relationship.
I know for me, that was more so the issue too, because my parents never really met you like that. Like
right.
They knew
of me because I went to the church, right?
But they didn't know you, so it was just like to not know someone and then boom,
all of a sudden he's engaged,
right?
And
he's not working,
right? He's 17 or 8, just turned 18,
not working, engaged. Like, what are you doing? So that was more the negative feedback I received. It wasn't again particularly the person, but it was just the timing and everything that was going on.
Right. I can definitely understand that. So fast forward, we start planning the wedding.
Fast forward is like a week. Like you said, fast forward.
It really is.
A couple months. It
really was like a week.
It was like a week.
Oh my god! So a week passes. 1 week later.
I do want to say I do remember a moment when you was like, "Yo, we gonna make you come out on an elephant." I was like, what? I can't just walk. I can't just regularly be there. No, like it was like so.
It was so extreme and elaborate. I know that. I believe him because back then I was like, yo, you like Aladdin. Just think of like Prince Ali. That scene in Aladdin, Prince Ali, where he comes out and he's like on an elephant and he's like, they've got every single like everything that you can think of laid out. That was my vision of him, and I was like planning on like coming through the roof. It was serious. It was like legit. It was serious. So the end of the end. So previous to that, I felt that in that time, Leo, I think it was because of the conversations that you were having with your family at that time that I didn't know that he was having, but I felt like he was just being so mean to me. And I think I thought he was so mean to me. And I don't know exactly what it was that he would say, but he was just really short with me. He was really mean to me.
I would say
very distant,
Not
with me,
mean.
absolutely.
I don't remember being mean.
No, I felt dude, he's a Taurus, so like, yes, you. He's a Taurus. So I really felt like he was being so mean to me. And like, girls, we know that like when a guy starts doing things like that, there's an underlining like reason behind why they're acting that way. So for me, I was like, yo, like he's changing. He's not the same person that I fell in love with.
That's anybody who has anything going on, you know, that's underlining.
Of course, you start to like that underlining issue starts to bleed through in your everyday life. Correct. And that's what I felt like I was receiving from him. I felt like from there, I was just like, at this point, I kind of felt and knew that our relationship was over. If we were to continue anything from there, I knew that I would probably hate him and he would probably hate me. And for you, I know that your family was heavily involved once you moved out of our place. And so you came to get your things. And from there...
You were hysterical.
Hysterical is the word that we will use.
Like a Haitian funeral?
Like... I was trying to go in a casket with him. Like, this man was literally dragging me outside of my house. Like, not dragging me physically in abuse, but I was holding onto his leg, and I was like, "Don't leave! Like, take me with you!" Like, I was very gun set on him not ending this relationship. And like I said before, it wasn't that I was gun set on him ending the relationship, but the fact of like ending this marriage and ending the dream or the notion of having a wedding. Like, how do you go back to people and tell them that you're no longer engaged?
Right. I think for you know, being as young as we were, I think that's a very embarrassing moment to be like, you know, to go back and be like, you know, after people tell you something, to be like, dang, you know, you say you want to do something and then you're young, so you're like, I want to do this, but then, you know, you come back and you're like, oh, well.
You act like you got it all together.
Right.
And now you have to tell them that you don't.
Correct.
And that is not easy for a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. It's not easy, and it's not something that we want to do either. So being that we had to then come back and do that, I know was just like, that was not something that we wanted to do at all. So at that point, he moved out and we had became distant, like super distant at that point. Relationship was no longer existed because not only were we distant in our relationship once he was like still living in our house, he's now outside of my house, and now even more distant than you were when he was there.
Right. With outside influence, you know, you start to... What happens is, for me, I'm an introvert. So I tend to shut down. And when I shut down, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with anything. I don't want to hear anybody. I don't want to deal with anything. And especially I hated talking on the phone, and I still hate talking on the phone. So it's like she would call me and it'll just be like...
What's up?
You watch it ring, or you just don't answer.
Ignored.
Or so that was just the case with it, and it got to a point where she decided that, you know, a week later, you decided that you wanted to end it.
I mean, after you try and somebody's not, like, no longer interested in being in a relationship with you, you kind of get the hint and you move on. And apparently that's what I did. Like, we didn't end our relationship on negative terms, on bad terms. We left our relationship based on the outside influences of other people.
This was the first model that I've ever shot. I don't know if that's
I was
first model I've ever shot. So.
He is a photographer now. So when we rekindled our friendship after like 5 years?
10 years.
10 years?
Well,
10 years now,
years,
but 5 years
years
when I first became your model. 5 years, we rekindled our friendship, and I was his first model. And speaking of that moment, that time, me being his first model, I was really scared of like seeing him again, because all of those emotions, all of those feelings that I had back then were like, and I was single, so So, but based on that, we reconnected after 5 years, and then I became his first model, and then he had.
And I had another shoot that you
another shoot, and that was like it was funny because that first shoot that we did of his first official model outside of me was his first photo shoot, but it was also my like kickstart of my makeup career as well. So I think we started our like industries together, which is crazy. So it's cool to know that 12 years later I'm still sitting next to this guy, hanging out, kicking it with him, and we are extremely really close friends. And this guy will always be somebody in my life. Let's talk for a second before we close out. Let's talk for a second on what it takes in order for you to be able to have this type of friendship with somebody, especially with an ex. How do you move forward from those past hurt experiences and past things that you guys have been through, and be able to have this type of friendship with somebody after 12 years or even after such a devastating breakup,
I just think that it comes down to just having a honest conversation. Just having an honest conversation, understanding what pain you caused, letting them know what pain they caused, and then accepting things for what they are and moving forward.
Right. Agreed. I definitely think that you have to want that, like both of you guys have to want that. I definitely think that you have to take the time to invest into that relationship. You've got to pour into that relationship. It also takes being with people. If you're dating other people, it takes people that are understanding of the connection that you guys have. I think that you definitely have to be willing and ready to put in the effort to, like you said, have those honest conversations and really just understand the part that you played in that. And really just really take the time to know who you are, because even in our 5 years before we saw each other again, so we had plenty of time, we had almost 10 years to really get to know who we are and really understand who we are as people, and come back into this friendship and really present the whole person as who we are today.